We're going to get into a deep revelatory message today. I'm really holding myself and realizing, like, in this moment right now, I just saw the number 10. The completion shows you, like, you were in fact chosen for center stage, where your story, like, it's like, you know how you spend so much of your life wanting for it to be something else, right? For it to be more romanticized, or for it to be, for you to attract such incredible things, that you spend so much time really doing what you want, which is longing rather than living anything particular. Because when it actually comes, you feel like, oh my goodness, like there's actually just so much more fear. But I see that I'm having a realization right now, and I feel like this is going to be collectively true. Like, someone was watching, like, something that you did not think was being watched was, like, being recorded. Like, you're going to really see how, is it Metatron, who is the keeper of all of our deeds? So Metatron is like, whether you like it or not, I'm like writing the naughty or nice list. Like, I know all the things you do. So that's the part of, like, inner dharma and karma that we are, like, understanding and learning to differentiate between, and reclaiming our power. And because that record is now preceding you. Like, it's now going to have a value to it. Which is funny, because this was not indicative of the old paradigm. You know what I mean? So, oh my gosh. And I just looked in here and just, like, left this is a real, oh my goodness, really likes this? A real blue jay feather. And the blue is obviously gonna, like, not pick up on the screen. But it's like a super blue. So it feels so crazy holding it often, and I don't have, like, an actual cushion, so. That's so embarrassing. Sorry. I had, like, something on my... Calling in the wisdom of the blue jay. Something you did not realize was truly even being witnessed, recorded. Your good karma wasn't just, like, it wasn't just like, oh good, I, like, produced some good karma here, like, I did the right thing, I followed my intuition, and, I'm better for it. Like, it's not one of those lessons. This is also one of those, like, your story will actually be on a main stage inadvertently. I hear, like, you would not have known that this was going to be this sort of main stage, and not for you. Like, it's not taking a second more of your precious life. That's not what's happening here. This is not indicative. This is not a forecast. This is already energy that you've witnessed. We were a part of places where we really knew and could tell that that this was all how we displayed our power, truthfully. That's all that I feel like we got in that last cycle, right? Was the articulation of the abuses of power. Now the awakening really shows you like, oh wow, it really gets real because it really hits home. You know, it really hits home. And I have been in love with this Oracle of the Grail Code. So, insights, wisdom, and guidance from the Grail. Like, it's the Holy Grail. Like, it's this deck is like into the truth. You know what I mean? Like, right nosedive, right into the reality of the situation. And I think Spirit is going to speak to it. I just want to go ahead and relight some of these candles that have since blown out. Oh, that candle is done. That's great. Works for me. So now this candle can actually... All right. Anyways, this grail, it's about to really... It's about to really spill it all. Whew. Oh my God. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have Rapture. This is what I'm talking about. What you didn't know, what you thought was just like, oh, that was just a personal like cycle, I guess. Me just really needing to figure this out or figure that out about my life, and I'm just better for what I went through. Like, you didn't actually know that it was the rapture. That your actions, your behavior, your choices, your choice was being recorded. And there's just this acknowledgement that something isn't the call of your soul. Something would lead you, like, going down would be because you walked right down. To where you couldn't breathe. It's like it would be a choice. The rapture would be a choice. To go down towards that. Because the deeper you go, the less lung capacity you have. That would be a choice. So we're going to read Rapture because that is like such a gnarly energy. And this girl looks like so familiar. I don't know what's going on there. Not like to me, but it's just like a... Okay. Rapturous joy dances into your life, trailing bliss and delight. Oh my God. Total. Look how that was. The rapture is here. So walking into the darkness would be a choice because look where we are. Wow. You see how the connotation just changed completely? You are being lovingly enticed to amp your life to its highest vibration. It is now time to choose to enjoy each and every precious moment, heartbeat, and breath of life. If you wait till you feel joy, you will have lived a meager existence. However, if you decide to fill your life with rapturous joy by choosing to do so, then your life will become a sumptuous banquet, bringing you health and vitality and an abundance of others who will want to be invited to share the feast. Are your friends not returning your calls or leaving highly complex and inventive reasons for not being able to join you? Have you been pulled over and ticketed by the bliss police for living with excessively low levels of delight? Is your account of stockpiled rapture empty or even overdrawn? Perhaps you've been taught that all life is suffering and pain, or have no inner template of joy since that wasn't a part of your childhood. Do you hold out joy as a reward to be wallowed in only after you have finished all the work? If your life feels listless, blissless, dull, and boring, or is a foreign film whose subtitles are written in an unfamiliar language, then quick, you need emergency joy rehydration therapy. Countless studies have found that we experience joy, bliss, ecstasy, and rapture in our brain. What this means is we don't have to wait until a joyful moment happens along to allow ourselves to feel joy. We can pause for a moment of joy just by stopping, taking a deep breath, and simply saying to ourselves, I feel great, or this moment right here and now is terrific, or I'm enjoying myself, or your favorite expression of joy. Choose to make joy and rapture a daily moment by moment happen, and your life will be transformed into a garden of magical delight. So now we're going to go to choice, because I feel like the Call of the Soul card will be a good close. But we're going to just, this is going to just really hit, I know. So whatever, choice. Choice is waiting for you at the crossroads. To choose or not to choose, that is the question. You are needing to exercise your will in the situation before you. There is only one way to get through it. You could try to avoid having to choose or numb out with sex, drugs, and alcohol or work, or you could consciously choose what is happening as the best thing that could happen to you and go through it cleanly, and with emotional sobriety. This is the time to make your choice. We are presented with challenging situations in our lives in order to grow. It is through encountering and besting our so-called nemesis that we become the wise old crones we are needed to be, a resource for our community and world. There is no way to evade things that press, grind, and gnaw. What we can do is choose how we are going to be and what we are going to make of everything we are handed. Do you have cupboards filled with the latest and best avoidance techniques for all occasions? Time to clean them out. Are you panicked and fearful when confronted with the needing to choose? Time to make your choice. Make choice of your choice your ally. Perhaps you live a preordained life, prescribed by your parents, society, the church, the state, your spouse, whatever, where you have never looked a decision in the eye or had to make a choice. Time for empowerment. Do you feel that you have no choice? Time to recognize, realize, and recover the power of choice in every moment of your life. Oh my God. Because this is the funny thing. So Dennis and I are really getting called to make like a couple of really serious moves. And because there's like a lot of like food poverty and like food deprivation in the area that we're living in. Like it's really just like with our diet, we really don't have like sufficient options with where we are, and it's really taken like negative effects, because like it's just been a pretty miserable, like, to be able to even try to fight, like, low vibration, of course, is going to take over when you don't even have the will or the power to, like, refuse. So, because you're not able to feel yourself. So, it's been a lot of, like, needing to, like hoarding at bunches of times, like, bigger meals, because it's, like, less frequent that we'll be able to, like, sustain. So, when we do find something that we can have, like, but for the most part, it's been rough, you know. And I feel like part of this submitting to rapture had to come from this choice, this choice that we had to, like it says right here, it's time to recognize, realize, and recover the power of choice in every moment. Because I do have a choice. If what's in front of me, I think we need to hear this. If what is in front of you is not up to your standard, you always have the choice of everything else. I don't care how many excuses or fear-based tactics this call of the soul in reverse is putting in front of you. It is a call of soul in reverse, meaning you would be walking yourself into the abyss, into the darkness, gliding, using your soul power to descend. If you can't find what you're looking for where you are, it's because you've changed. And so now it's okay to understand that, like, so then therefore saying I have no choice, that's why I'm doing things. Like, some people in this position will say, oh, I don't have a choice. No, you always have a choice. And sometimes, yes, there's karma. Yes, third dimensionally, that might mean a reduction or a break or a moment of discomfort in your life to make room, to mobilize, to shake loose some money, some energy, to free it up. Maybe you need to let go of some things in order for you to really, really let go of some things. You feel me? So many of these people would say, look, is the underworld really calling? Were they really calling? Or were you walking into the abyss? Are we all really fighting like so hard? It's so difficult. I just can't. I'm so pulled. Or is it so isolated now that we're just seeing this bitch turn around and walk down? Being toxic, this toxicity, the choice in that. Because for some of us, we are pulling up on this rapture, bro. You just experienced it under this previous new moon. We're back. Hello, where we were, but not at all, right? Because this is so after experiencing that rapture, it allowed you to put into perspective. I'm not a victim. I'm not being called down here. I'm walking down here. I'm turning around and I'm traveling backwards. And that's what this Mercury retrograde really showed you. Rather than taking us backwards, it just showed us the people that walk backwards. And say that something is pulling them, or that it's so difficult to walk forward. Move on, let go. Be led. Or just flow. Like, you don't even have to do anything. Like, that's another thing. Like, let me not even change this to another action. She's in a boat. Do not we went kayaking yesterday, and Spirit was just like, I mean, you always end up exactly where you need to be, what you need you resonate with different parts of the lake, But the surrender to this joy would to be able to look in and to get strong. Let me get some water here. To become strong in the discernment, to be clear in that there's no big force, big bag, ooga booga force, right? And that's going to change everything too, because my choice is based on fear, right? What choices are you making based on fear? Do we always have to have, like, this is also talking about, like, picking flowers. Like, do we always need to have the personal bouquet? Or maybe can we get the perspective of why they're naturally there, But we were on a boat yesterday, or we were kayaking yesterday. And we had this whole thing. There's just so many fears, I think, that I think we were like physically like letting dispel from our body. And one of them being like when you're in a lake and when you're actually on the water, you really realize like the water isn't conspiring against you. So your fears of like drowning, or when you hear the like crazy story about how like this or that or the third happened, and and whatever, like, be very, very, very cognizant of like, this is it's really not, it's not this pervading danger. That's not what's normally happening. Most people who participate on the water regularly, like, do just that, participate on the water regularly, and most of these people out there really just want to engage with the water. Like, most of them would just like to be out there. Like, I think some of the people who face the most discomfort or challenges or fear or trepidation is like, for example, like the more shit you want to bring, with yourself. We just kind of ended up on the water. It was so beautiful. But like, the more shit you want to bring, like, if like you see the people who are like trying to bring like, and there's a vibe and it's time and place. It's not a negative or positive, but it's like, for example, if you're someone who's trying to bring everything onto the water, which I saw myself doing in this time, like, I was like going on an overnight staycation, but thinking like I needed to bring my whole house to the place rather than like thinking about how, low power, we're going to plug her up right now, actually. Isn't that great? Yeah, it's a very aligned way to do this. Okay, so now it's plugged. But yeah, I was thinking that I needed to bring everything to the water. But when we got to the water, the reason we were able to just actually flow into the water was because we were aligned in what we actually needed to walk. Like, we just take water and ourselves, like, it's really like very minimal, like nominal. And like Dennis has like this over one shoulder, like small bag that carries like our wallets. Cause I'm not like a purse person. Like, I'm not really a bag person. You know what I mean? I really wish I had, I'm just more like utilitarian when it comes to like, I would just like, I don't even really want to always be, I have thoughts about like the phone and like all the stuff all the time, because when you're out on the water, you also see how like an iPhone is a liability, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it kind of gets like that for me, where it's just like I just kind of need my shit to like do what it needs to do rather than be like such a stressful space. But anyways, so we're out on the water, and we, you know, we're the first like 25 minutes of the row, it's like it's really hot, and we're really focusing on being separate from the water, and really in a subconscious way, not because we were like on the boat, like, you know what I mean? But this is like spirit, because this is in a separate message. Like, some of you said fuck it and you dived right in, like you're floating down the river, you know, but you're also like, I've never gotten to, like, there's something about a splash. Like, some of us made a choice to be like, oh, we're here, like I'm woo, like you're jumping off the boat, like some, like this is, because this is also what I was really realizing is like the rapture, the joy comes from like falling in. Like, what is it actually though, you know? Like, is it, what do you actually feel about like being in the water? Because like it was like we were being so separate from the water so subconsciously, until like one minute I turned to Dennis and I was like, why the am I like choked up? And I'm not like trying to promote like any like water like the safety, like no, like know yourself, like no, but at the same time there is like a hypochondriac fear like of like, well, also as a human and as with self-trust and with awareness of myself, right? Self-awareness, I know I can say that I can account for Alexis. I cannot account for all of you, but I can count for Alexis that like my human response to jumping in water would be to swim outside of my mind, which would maybe like make me freak out. Like, I would adapt to survival. That's like, you know, and to thrival. Like, you know, I would float. Like, I would use techniques. Like, I can do that outside of my own limited perception and processing of like, but oh my God, like it's like, it's, so when you realize that the water is so deep, you're in the water, like the water is not coming for you. Like, there's only water around you because you are like, you've inserted yourself. But then you realize what swimming really is and why swimming is such a different, when you jump into the pool, you know, you're going from picking flowers and keeping them bundled to like, you know, just trying to pick the flowers and, you know, just along the trail and just basic bitch hour, or just come unhinged and just jump right into the water, right? Because it's still hot. Like, it's like you're wearing this long dress. Like, if this is like where I live right now, it's like burning hot. It's like, you know what I mean? So like the sunburn here, like on the cheek, like it's like not good, you know? It's like, this isn't cooling me off, because just the view of the lake was great and all, but you know what's even better about the lake is like being refreshed and hydrated by the fresh water. And my fears, like, and I also know like I'm very much calling in like quick movement, because me and Dennis are like really ready to go, because like also be like where you are being housed like vibrationally, like it's about to shake, like you can like go ahead and shake that up and bust right out of there, because you're ready to jump right in and into the life that you've already been doing. But it's so much of this, like the fear is like in some of these people are like making institutions, like there's a general sense of like unwell that's like pervading, you know. So this oracle is so beautiful because there is that energy, right? Like it's so nuanced, the call of the soul. But either way, right? Because that's what, regardless of how you're interpreting it, like whether you're walking into the abyss, right? And there's an acknowledge, like it would be a choice to take it there. It's very obvious. Like, girl, didn't nobody tell you to tip that over? Did nobody tell you to do the most and jump in? You supposed to be sitting right up here doing nothing, letting spirit push. Didn't nobody tell you to do that? So you can look at it both ways. Because like for me, I experienced the plunge was the like plunge into the fears, because the fears or the fear of the water, like the water isn't coming for you. Like the water's not attacking you. And yes, there's like tidal waves and like things like that. So like, but like the natural state of just like when you're really like on freshwater, like most of it's pretty like still when you get out like to most of the lake. Like there are definitely like bigger channels of the lake for sure at different points. But it's a really beautiful, you kind of like, you really just know it's like a really special experience. But when you really just like get in, and when we really just kind of started dunking in and just like swimming around and things like that, like we chose the rapture. We chose to feel the bliss and the joy and the dance in every moment. So that's a 25-minute message. Today is Dennis's last day at his job. Did you see how we do that? It's just like do. So I'm sure he's really just reflecting, I'm sure, as the day has continued on. Oh my God, and I have an appointment later today. And I'm sure you'll see what the appointment is for. And when you do, you're going to be like, hell yeah, Alexis. I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm allowing myself. Because that's what I'm going to do after this. I'm going to go to the bank after this, cash some moolah. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. This is what you're gonna do. This is like the birthing. This is the offering. This is the physical. This is getting into the groundedness of it being a thing. Like, this is like the last day. This is like I've got the appointment that's gonna change. Like, so this is like physically presented. Hello, the renewal, Ace of Cups. That's what I mean. Like that literal, that holy grail. This is like this is the physical representation of the renewal. You're going to undergo something. There's a physical representation of the renewal that you've gone under. Page of Pentacles. And it's to start you on a journey of kingdom, to get your kingdom. This is the physical representation of your renewal so that you can start embarking on your 10 of Cups. This is you symbolically, physically in some way saying, I am doing this, and by doing this signifies a new era, an individual era. The Hermit, the individual. What's your individual experience within yourself? Only you can go there. Gemini moon, Gemini new moon, the moon. This is the revelation. This is what the moon made you realize. I just heard how the moon makes you just howl. Where you're just realizing you're howling at the moon. Like these dogs, like when are wolves or dogs gonna realize, like are they getting communication back? Because from some perspective, like it's like dogs that stay and howl all night. It's like, bro, like this is never gonna go away. You get me? It's like taking that power back. It's like this magician is withdrawing the power that the moon had. The thing that was in the shadow that was pulling you in, you're sucking that power back. You're sucking that. Oh, hello. Oh my God. I told you Dennis's last day. We've left two roles, you know. We're taking the power back from this 3 of Pentacles. This contract, this deal, this partnership, this job, this relationship, this collaborative effort where it's not even collaborative effort. It's actually just like showmanship. It's like where you were being appraised for like what you were doing, how you were being valued. You're taking the power back because something was just you howling at the moon was like all smoke and mirrors. Like the moon, like, oh my God, when we get to the edge of the moon, you realize these dogs realize they're running. They're going to run. It's just going to keep going. Like this road following the moon, it's always going to be in front of you. No matter where you go on this road. So you got to ask yourself, am I going to commit to this with this random energy that's just also here because it's being guided by something that we're just going to keep, there is never going to be fulfilled. This is the yearning and yearning and yearning. This is the runner-chaser paradigm. These two dogs represent that runner-chaser paradigm. the light of the moon chasing the sun. You know, how much of the moon we see is because the moon depends on the vitality of the sun in order for us to be able to, not to feel its influence, but to visually see its influence. Because this has to do with the third dimension. You see what I mean? Like all of this, there was something in the third dimension that was affecting, like that was drawing, that was making you think that something that you already feel are embodied on, like it was like this influence, like maybe it was a previous job, right? Where it was like, your value is your value as an employee, but this job had a toxic relationship, like the sun. Like you see how the sun is on this moon? It's a moon card, but it's the sun on the moon. And this, it talks about the sun's power, like the sun being the thing that tells you like what moon phase we're in, right? Like what we can see, what visible shape we're able to see, what visible aspect of this. We can only see the moon for its lumen. It's always a full moon. There's always a big rock, but the full moon means like the sun also opposition of the moon, right? That full illumination. That full illumination. They only let you shine fully at a certain time when you're in a certain position. Taking all of that back. Taking all of that back. Third dimensionally. Taking back the power in that. Ooh, this is a powerful message. Oh my God. So I'm going to take this one flipped up on its back, the Ace of Pentacles. Taking all of that back, and here it comes. It's a Knight of Swords and an Ace of Pentacles that came out together. This message is coming in. Ah, I see. When you do that, you're like, oh wait, whoa, what the fuck? Like when we actually like celebrate and remove power from some of these things that tell us when we shine and when we don't, and when we have influence and when we don't, and when we matter and when we don't, when we take that back, there's like a ching, like a, suddenly I can like do things, like things open up. And then in comes this Knight of Swords, which has the Seven of Swords energy underneath it, which I am interested. Ah, don't deceive yourself. That's so beautiful. Ooh, Dennis is gonna love this. People will pop up on the grid, right? Notice what kind of energy, like this Knight of Swords is like unrelated. Look how he's, like if you could see the spread, the Knight of Swords is like running at the rest of the scene. Like he's not really related to any of this. This is just some hot and fast truth, right? And you'd have to discern, don't deceive yourself by thinking that this is the only truth. That like, I could be feeling so high up and in that same day, something so random, like an energy just gets like flocked. That it's not even jealousy, but it's that energy of your energy being ripe, right? Don't deceive yourself. Don't deceive yourself focusing on like what they've got, because you've got all this truth. You've got all this tea. Like the Seven of Swords is like, you can't be focused on, you got to know what you're going to do with this. The Seven of Swords isn't bad if it's like your army doesn't have a way to like stand a chance. So you're like redistributing. Like if you're taking, you got to take some of these swords and go give it, like pass it back out to the, like y'all need ammo if you're going to be able to survive out here. So I just feel like there comes in this energy that's super funny. Seven of Swords. And it's deceptive. It's deceptive in the way of like, people are watching you walk out. People are watching. You may have walked out of a situation where you've got a bunch of people's truths, like that and almost kind of in an expose kind of way, like certain things about the inside of certain things, and you made it known that you knew the inside of certain things. And so as you walk away, in also comes just the thought, like the realization, like this is also the clarity that strikes, like it comes at you really fast when you're like, oh, I see why this was all so expedited. Because it's like the Knight of Swords is running back. The retrograde is letting you run this back one time. That's also what Spirit's saying, is so you can understand what's happening here. This is like your mind processing. This is all happening before your mind can process it. That's why it might, Seven of Swords, right? It might feel deceptive. It might feel like, am I really just doing something unsustainable? But look at what's already come to pass. Look, there are certain things that have changed. There are certain truths that have been revealed where people are now just reflecting, and you let them know, like, what you're choosing right now. I hope you know we're under the rapture. We're under that judgment energy. So what you're choosing is supposed to be representative of you. So I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope what you're choosing is what you really want to choose, because it's what you're going to be left with. So the Seven of Swords is when you just get to walk out with, they're all asleep. This is when someone leaves themselves vulnerable and you can get what you need. Y'all are in competition. This isn't like stealing, like, this is like stealing like open resources. Like, oh my God, thank God we found this campsite before our enemy did. Because there's going to be a tsunami in the water. We needed a place to like stay on the mountain that was like away from the water. This is like when you use strategy, when you were ready, when someone else wasn't ready, when you were aware, when you weren't, it's like when you play, it's almost like playing on vulnerabilities, because it's like, yeah, you could, like, say you're sleeping, like, say, like, all the people whose swords these were asleep, and that's why, if you have a different motive, it could have been your guidance to, like, secure these, because it could have been in alignment with the karma of the people whose they belong to like lose them and now have to grow through, like, how do we recuperate? How do we continue to connect? You don't know. The divine orchestration, there is no judgment. There's no good or bad, bro. It's just filling experiences where the consummate experience needs to be mirrored. You know what I mean? Woo, Spirit, we are channeling. We are channeling. Oh, tarot change, bro. That's what I'm feeling. So back to this energy of physically doing something, experiencing something, making something, finishing something, graduating something that signifies that you're on this new path, bro. You are on this new path where your main focus is to suck all that illustrious pulling influence right on out. There we go. The Queen of Discs, clarifying the Page of Pentacles. You're doing something to come into a very divinely feminine, like, Queen of Pentacles. Like, you're doing something to show that you, like, she's well adorned. She's worried about how she physically is supporting the work. Look at that. Everybody's fed. You're doing something that shows that that's who you're going to be. We're all going to see your Queen of Discs. Judgment in reverse. Six of Cups. You found your tribe. You found your tribe. Your tribe might be one person, but that one person is, like, perfect. Because you see how huge this world is. Like, me having one friend of the caliber of Dennis is, like, I can't complain. And so there's also no need to settle, because I am not fulfilled. You're right. Like, it's not that, like, something happened or, like, I'm in a toxic, constraining space, because, like, if you look at me, I am the healthiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like, just from a holistic perspective. And so, as an individual, I keep progressing, but objectively, the relationship that I have with Dennis really does more speak to the value one person can have. I used to be the person that, like, could not narrow down my birthday guest list to less than 75 people every birthday. Like, Gemini, we already knew that, right? But it was like, I used to have so many people, because I used to always say, like, if I could put all of these people together, that would be the depth at which, like, would be like a super mega best friend. But I was someone who just always had a lot of deep friendships, like a lot of friendships, really. And, like, as I got older, it's so crazy because, you know, now going on 6 years ago, I didn't, like, my whole world really shifted, because then I started seeing, like, how deep you can go with just one energy. And I haven't even come anywhere near, like, the surface of what this energy can provide. And so until I'm really interested in it, you know, and I'm really interested in getting to know it. And that's the path. How I just described my partner is how you're looking at this path. It might be a new job that you're like, I'm just really interested, you know? I don't know. I would give up going. I would not go. I would give up and be sure. I would give my security. I would commit to this. Because the 10 of Cups is like, I would commit to this person, this job, and learn each of these cups. I would learn it because it would still lead to a rainbow. Regardless of which cup you stop at on the rainbow, it's still the bigger picture is that my emotional fulfillment comes from the commitment. So some of y'all are looking at a new career path that's opening wide up for you. Scooped you right up. And you're saying, what I know to be true is that I see with this one energy how much history can be. 6 cups. How many storms you've weathered, how many storms you can weather, and you'll still be there. Different shapes, still beautiful. You know what I mean? There's still value here. Somebody could find these and be like, these are worth millions of dollars. It doesn't mean, just because there's chips and stuff doesn't mean that this couldn't have been like, but it's able to weather storms. This is a connection. This is on all levels though. You're going to be having relationships. You're going to be committing to a path that's going to allow you to weather storms. Because that's what you really realize when you felt like you didn't have any strength. When you were somewhere where you had no strength, you were totally disempowered and there was just like the Moon. Princess of Cups. Offering. This is the bartender, right? Who keeps you drunk. The fair maiden who's giving you a good time, but who keeps pulling you in. As long as if she will keep putting all of these cups on your table for you to drink. Because the moon we were talking about, you will never catch the moon, is what I heard with this moon card. Realizing you would never catch the moon. Here you come. Look how many cups they're asking you to fill. This is a never satisfied energy. This moon card, the runner chaser paradigm, is a never satisfied energy. Because the moon also needs to always understand its intrinsic value as a whole rock, as a whole sphere in the sky, as a whole celestial body. Otherwise, you're going to still be bootlegging and putting on the maidens and serving and filling up all these cups on your own. Because you're like, I'm walking into the void, and you're never going to catch this. This is eons away from you. But the perspective makes it look like, oh my God, like they paint this big image to make you think you're walking into it, but it's so far away. There's nothing tangible. So here you go, wasting these cups, filling this up, looking like a servant, and this energy is galaxies away. The pull of the moon, bro. Look, this moon is having you just chase after. This is like trying to be like, I'm going to walk to Jupiter tonight, Mom. No, you're not. You're not. It doesn't matter how close it appears. You're not. And you end it, right? Because we talked about the moon. The next card is the magician who takes all the power back. You have an ending with this energy. You confront it and you say, man, look how many cups you make me fill up just to chase you. Just to chase you. You don't even want these cups, but you make me fill them up. Because if I don't fill them up, you remind me of how much I'm not filling them up. So I'm doing all this servitude, and it doesn't really matter because you're just picking and choosing when you want to shine on activate partial parts of my life. That's not even real. You can't determine my light. I can do whatever I want, and I don't need. I am my own light source. So what the moon could also do would be really tight is that the moon glowed in the dark. Glow in the dark is the concept. Because that's like without all the codependency. Being your own light source. So that's what this magician's magic spell was. I want to glow in the dark. I don't need a lantern. This is the wish of the hermit. I don't need a lantern. I want to glow in the dark. And here comes spirit. In the physical. You glow in the dark. Boom, in comes this energy immediately. Why? Because you were smart when others were asleep. 7 of Swords. So here we are with this moon energy. It's the end of the cycle. You graduated. Congratulations. It's a huge day, dude. It's a huge day. Prince of Disc, the Fool, the Magician says, I want to glow in the dark. Here comes Spirit, alchemizing your flesh and blood from the inside out, infusing you with the glow in the dark juices. And it leaves you as the Prince of Discs, because an offer comes right into you where you can have the miles and miles of the ridge. You have this Prince of Discs has the fortitude to maintain like the hill country. Like he owns a vineyard. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, dude, I can maintain this vineyard. I can still go, you know? I've still got the energy to do the long treks, you know? I'm at the beginning of building my kingdom. I want a big space to maintain, to prove to myself. You see what I mean? Four of Swords. Here's the healing. Here's the healing. Spirit's about to gift you the place where you can go heal. The place that's in your element. This is what it's going to kind of look like. This is ironic because I'll come back to this and see how somewhere in my future home looks like this card. But it'll be the place where we can really knock out this healing. And then let's get the last energy here of this Knight of Swords energy. This has been beautiful. 45, 50. It's cool. As you counting out the stacks, like I was at 45, 50. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get this energy of the Knight of Swords. Oh my God. And in comes the news of the Ten of Wands, bro. The unity consciousness. You transcending all the individuation, you rising above the competition because you showed a vision for all of us. All of these countries independently have something so beautiful and so unique, right? But you got chosen because you stood up above the rest and you brought together all of a collective identity in what you wanted to offer. That's why you will be the superior race, the global race. This whole energy, this planet is the superior. Because individually, it doesn't matter. There are others that aren't encompassed, but this includes everybody. Choosing you. I'm also hearing like you got chosen by everybody. You were everybody's top choice. The Hangman. This is the new perspective. This coming in that says you were the Ten of Wands. It says that your burden that you carried was the most impressive. The biggest. You took your experience and you went like. You showed like things that they weren't even really expecting you to like touch into. You flipped them upside down. You're like, oh, we didn't even think about how that would be a good quality to have in somebody doing this. Add that in the job description. Like that's what I'm hearing. So they're rushing to you all because you were able to be like, everybody else sleep. It don't matter, bro. I got to keep going, bro. I got to keep going. You know, might be some casualties because y'all left independent, but that wasn't the time. That was not the guidance. It's broad daylight. You want to take a nap during the daytime? Be my guest. But people are moving in the daytime, so if you want to be asleep while other people are moving, don't be mad when someone's somewhere you aren't. Because this says you brought it to you made them elevate, and that alone is why it's gonna come in with the swiftness. Everybody's favorite. Everybody should have a love for the planet Earth, though. This would be your energy would be everybody's choice. If this is a panel of people and not, this is all the votes that were in your favor. All these independent departments were really impressed with you and want you to do this. It is going to be the most embodied, one of the most perspective shifting. This is Gemini all mother day, Gemini season, bro. Because the perspective shifting, communicating the perspective shift, just being aware of how perspective works and how it forms can help you strategize to get to where you need to go and make that security. And you're realizing that when you chose to opt in to change your perspective, you now have the skills and the fortitude to be able to strategize over other energies. And that just means you have access to resources. There's not a competition, but resources aren't always available. Some things can be available for a period of time, so you're now able to seize this. This is about seizing opportunities. Seven of Swords really is, that's what we're rebranding it as, is seizing opportunities. And I just saw at the back of the deck that just peeked out, the Fool. You're seizing the opportunity. The Seven of Swords, once you master that energy, you just know how to go after the opportunity. This is saying, I'm here to flip your perspective about me. And because you did, Ten of Wands, you tower over the rest. This has got to be my favorite illustration of the Ten of Wands. Because it accurately talks about the success and pride. The wand suit is like pure magic. It's the magic suit. It's what you can do with your magic stick. This is being my eons above the rest. You are bigger than it. You were bigger than it, and it's already yours. So congratulations. I'm so proud of myself. I felt this energy. I'm so grateful because I'm going to go to the bank and do the rest of these things, and that's why I'm going to go undergo this transformation. I will be different on the other side, but thank you so much, and kisses.